What's up, guys? Back with another review for you. One I'm actually pretty excited to make. This is the NRB Knives Trapcode. Now, if you haven't checked out his Instagram page, go ahead and do it. He's I Am Not a Real Boy on Instagram, and I believe this is the second Bally he's made. He had the douche before this, and then now the Trapcode. But I'm actually pretty impressed with it, and Garrett's a pretty good guy. He's actually one of the first people, like, when I first got into Bally's, that I got advice from, just like how to disassemble, how to reassemble, how to maintain our Bally's, how to anodize, just like that basic advice we all need when we first get into this stuff. And he's also got a YouTube channel. It's Sky something something. I'll link it in the info down below. But yeah, he also does reviews, and his were some of the first reviews I went to when I first got into flipping and got into Bally's, and I actually kind of template my own videos after his. But let's get into this. Now, these were $265 total. They were $100 down and then $173 upon completion. $8 for shipping. It weighs in at 4.65 ounces. Now, comes with a set of titanium spacers and a set of aluminum spacers. It's 4.65 with the tie and 4.55 with the aluminum. Now, I haven't even tried putting the aluminum ones in because the balance is already just perfect for me the way it is, so if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Now, the blade material is 440C. I know when they were originally drawn up, they were supposed to be D2, and I was actually pretty happy with the change to 440C because down here in Florida, D2 just doesn't do too well. Now, the blade is 4.3 inches long, 4.1 inch cutting edge. Handles are 5.5 inches. Grade 5 titanium. It's got an overall length of 9.85 inches. And this is a sandwich style hidden Zen pin with hand fitted bushings, which were executed perfectly, I might add. The NRB Trapcode's got a black QPQ coated clip point Bowie-esque blade. It's got milled in bevels, and it doesn't have a crown spine, but it's got a nice chamfer going the whole way down. Now, I know the original plan for these blades was for them to just be plain stonewashed, but I guess there were some mess ups along the manufacturing process and they all ended up getting coated. And even when the first batch of blades showed up, they were pretty rough around the edges, so Garrett had them all sent back to be remade. And full disclosure, when I got my finished product, the finish on the blade was still pretty blotchy and uneven, but Garrett got me a hand-picked stonewash blade and sent it right out, and this one is perfect, so very happy with that. Thank you again. Now, the tang on this Bally is really low profile. It's got horns that are almost non-existent. The Zen nipples also really low profile, no sharp edges, it doesn't pinch at all. Now, even though this has bushings, and yes, they are tuned perfectly, which is such a refreshing change of pace because so many times I find myself buying these expensive custom or mid-tech Ballys, and out of the box, the pivots and the bushings are just whack. So getting a Bally with perfect bushings out of the box is just really nice. But even though they're just standard 3/16 inch pivots, it's a proprietary bushing size. 6 millimeters outer diameter if I'm not mistaken, so that just means should you ever need replacements, they're going to be really difficult to get a hold of if Garrett doesn't have extras. But the ones that are in this Bally are tuned just absolutely perfect, so I'm not really worried about it. Now, yes, this is a sandwich style Bally, but one thing I want to make note of is that if you can see here right after the Zen pin, the channel gap widens, and that just eliminates the possibility of any blade rub whatsoever. No blade rub, no tap, and especially with a coated blade, you really don't want any blade rub. It's going to show like a sore thumb. And I'm a stickler for tap, so say what you will. To me, no tap just means good tolerances. The finish on these handles is just like a basic bead blasted finish. Out of the box it was a little rough, but as I'm flipping it more and more, it's smoothing out, and now it's just turning into like the perfect blend of smooth yet grippy. That was the sloppiest choker ever. But I also really enjoy the profile of the handles. They're rounded but also have this heavy chamfer the whole way around. Now I know on the prototype, the original hole pattern design was a little bit more simple than this. It didn't have these extra design pieces in like the elongated oval holes. And I actually like that simplified design a little bit more, but the hole pattern on this is actually growing on me. It's pretty unique, I like it. Now it's got this floating spacer design, which I actually really enjoy when makers do that. Just looks cool to me. And both the included titanium and the aluminum spacers both utilize that floating spacer design. It's just a unique little touch. I like it. It's got 1/8 inch double-sided barrel T8 Torx screws. Now in the prototype design, I know there were 2 sets of barrels and screws, but on this, he brought it down to just 1 set of barrels and screws and put a centering pin, which just simplifies the design a little bit to me. Looks a little bit cleaner. Overall, I'm just really impressed with the way this Bali flips. Even despite the blade finish issues, the end product turned out so great that I can't really complain at all. The tolerances are excellent, it's a fantastic flipper. I really enjoy the balance. I haven't really done any flipping with the aluminum spacers because I've just been enjoying the balance with the titanium spacers so much. It's got just a little bit of handle bias. That's right where I like it. It's a little bit less handle biased than my alt blade Alpha Beast. Balance is pretty similar to my Thai Basilisk with full-length G10 spacers, and I actually really like the balance of that Bali. There isn't really much at all I would change about this knife. I would maybe pronounce the horns just a little bit more, but that's just like a visual thing that I like. I would like to have seen the blade with the originally planned just plain stonewash. I'm just not a fan at all of coated blades, and I know the original plan wasn't for them to be coated. I like the original prototype with the more simplified hole pattern. The only really things I would change at all about this are just like aesthetic nitpicks, really. Because functionally and performance-wise, this is an amazing, excellent knife. You can't really go wrong at all. I feel like that's Garrett's whole premise, is to design his Balis around the fact that they're going to be flipped and that they should flip well and function well and be maintainable. And that's a really good premise to design a Bali around. Because if anything, Balis need to function well. Overall, I couldn't really be happier with this knife, even despite the blade finish issues, which were promptly fixed right away. Garrett's a really great guy and got that sorted out for me. I'm really excited to see what he's got coming down the line. I'm definitely going to be trying to go for it, whatever it is, because after getting my hands on this and seeing how well it functions, how well it flips, I'm definitely in. But I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Till next time, peace.